Okay, I'm gonna stream for a while. Feel like I got more ideas than I can execute all at once, but I'm gonna get started with Save the Tatas.
Save the Tatas.
Save the Tatas, not those ones, the other ones. Hi, I'm September, also known as 12. It's hot and everybody's grouchy. It's okay. Everything's gonna be fine. We've been busting our ass. Rob especially has been busting his ass trying to get some gardening done, and the weather has been very unstable. So yeah. Got this plugged in, but I don't think I can leave it plugged in because my stand won't work with it plugged in. It's okay. Everything's gonna be fine. But yeah, let's do some cool stuff, some basic stuff. I was gonna show you a picture. Join my Discord if you want a picture. I know I posted that. So what happened was drops. Why would I have drops? Okay. Discord. I had a call or a text. Oh, because it's in Kanara's stream. Nope. I got a text from my local food pantry that I was going to last year when we needed to. And Brandy, the manager over there, and director, or whatever they call her, was like, hey, you got any creative ideas for potatoes? And she sent me a picture. I was like, well, I guess, I mean, I don't have a pressure canner. You would need a pressure can to can potatoes. But I got a dehydrator. I'm sure I could do that and stuff. And she sent me a picture. They got like 40,000 pounds of potatoes, just this whole storeroom full of them. So I'm going to be working on some stuff today. I got, there's, oh, you can't see. I have a laundry basket, another laundry basket, and Lori came and picked up a box. I have lots and lots and lots of potatoes. So, first thing I'm gonna do is start working on a marinade because we're gonna smoke ribs tomorrow, I believe. So I'm gonna start my potato salad. And my potato salad is really, really good. It's my grandmother's recipe, and it's famous. I was taught from a young age to not take our potato salad recipe to potlucks because then all the other women will hate you because no one will eat anyone else's potato salad. It's really freaking good. Don't put a bunch of shit in the mayonnaise and try to think it's going to flavor your potatoes. I've got potatoes boiling right now, and what's going to happen is, actually, let me check those. How are we looking? Woo! Whoa. I was watching Mike TV stream, but I had to get this marinade working. So we're gonna make a marinade that when the potatoes are still warm, you cut them all up and you marinate the potatoes. I'm for like a couple hours, and then you put everything else in your celery and your radishes and mayo at the end. But this is the key to magically delicious potato salad without doing something like throwing a bunch of fucking mustard in or relish or whatever people do to try and make that mayonnaise be something more interesting in their potato salad, because this flavors the potatoes. And then you only need a little mayo because this is like an oil and vinegar dressing, and so it helps your mayo spread out. You can use less. I put radishes in, which gives a nice peppery thing and a little color, and celery for some good crunch. Need about a half a cup. Green onion. Is that enough? Yeah, that's enough. Half a cup green onion. Boop. Some salt. Where's my salt? A teaspoon and a half of salt. What do we got here? This is a half teaspoon. And like I do for my cabbage salad, I'm going to put a lid on this and shake the hell out of it. It really gets it well blended and so the flavors can vary. Mustard. Ground dried mustard. A teaspoon of that. Like I said, again, so much more flavor than just trying to put some squirty mustard in your potato salad at the end, where you keep adding it more and more and more and wonder why. Gee, it's not. Just need about 1/8 teaspoon of pepper. So just a pinch. Like, why isn't it flavoring? And a dash of cayenne. This I just before stream. We don't want enough for it to get hot, and I only put a little bit because this is fresh. Before stream, I got out the spice grinder and I ground up some of my giant basket of Tabasco peppers, cayenne peppers that I've got. So we need half a cup of oil and a quarter cup of vinegar. Oh my gosh, I love having all my drawers, my new setup. That's CC's or something. Quarter cup. Just white vinegar is fine. I have used apple cider in a pinch, but white is just perfect for this. Don't use olive oil. It's going to be too heavy and interfere with your flavors. And half cup. Can go a little less on that if you want to. Here we go. Shake that up, and then that can sit while my potatoes are finishing cooking. We'll move on to the next thing. What else am I going to do? I have so many plans. It's going to be potatoes for days. I don't know if I'm going to keep streaming potatoes, but it occurred to me, especially because I have a friend I want to take casserole to when they make the call, is to do some ham and scalloped potatoes. Dehydrating takes, I'm going to have to blanch them for that. I can freeze potatoes. I'm going to have to blanch them for that. So I'm not sure if I'm going to get to all that today. But what I will do is start at least one ham and scalloped potato casserole because that freezes well. And I can put it into portions. Me and my middle son, Vic, are the only ones in school eat this, unfortunately. But that's okay. More power to us. So I want to slice these to, probably a 1/4 inch. I'm going to use the mandolin. I'm gonna, where are the potatoes? I got some russets out. Because this is going to be for me, I'm not going to peel them. So I will have some bad spots I'll want to cut out. Let's butter this pan before this butter gets too soft. All the potato bread. Holy cow. I've never made potato bread. I mean, I'm sure I could. I've baked plenty of bread. But I'm only going to have so much freezer space. And I definitely want to do some cubed up potatoes that I'll blanch. I've got my spider. I figure I can blanch cubes, freeze them on a tray, and then I got cayenne on my butter. That's not good. Have them ready to grab out of gallon bags whenever I want. Some breakfast taters. And gnocchi is another thing I can do that I think will freeze well. I don't know, I've never frozen gnocchi. I usually just make it and eat it right away. Probably should get a smaller knife out for taking out any little bad bits. I'm a bad bits. Ha ha ha. And the dehydrating will be interesting. I've never dehydrated potatoes. Sorry, I'm over here making sure this dish I'm going to put the scallop in is well buttered after the beet cake disaster. I learned my lesson. Crispy sandwich potato salad. Ah, yeah. German potato salad. I do have some bacon that's nice and. Oh, there's already some bad bits in this one. I have bacon that's already cut into tiny bits, all the trimmings from the full bellies. That at some point I'll do German salad, I'm sure. It's really unfortunate that Rob and Fletcher are so freaking picky. That doesn't help. I'll occasionally get Rob to eat some like breakfast potatoes, but he usually doesn't do breakfast at all. Kind of the Otik spiced potato of Dragonlance fame. He likes them spicy like I do. I know Lori, or my friend Heather that I dropped some off to, and I think Lori is too, going to make little like hash brown cups, egg cups with hash browns for the crust. When I do my little mini frittatas, I kind of don't put any crust. Ooh, this has a lot of bad in it. Let's get rid of that. Sorting these potatoes was something. I might go volunteer to help with that tomorrow. They're going to open again. Well, tomorrow's regular opening day for the pantry, and they need some help sorting out potatoes too, because of course there's some bad ones. And the pig farmer is eventually going to come and take what people don't take to feed his pigs. So it's nice they won't go to waste. Yeah, once I cook them in a curry. Oh, and if anybody out there doesn't know, I've got a thing of water here, because you do want to, once you slice them, get them into some water, or they will turn black. They will oxidize or rust effectively. Oh, so glad I have a mandolin right now. Yeah, I decided I want to get this potato salad done, and I only have so many pots I want going at once. I've got a Dutch oven out here, but I'm going to do the cream sauce in that. I got to message Bobby and see if they like scalloped potatoes with ham. If I'm going to make some for them, I'll probably peel the potatoes. But if it's not too unattractive, with the peels in the one I'm making for my family, or me and Vic anyway, maybe I won't. And yeah, part of the limit is like my freezer's going to run out of space. That's why I'm going to look at dehydrating as well. But you got to blanch to hydrate, and you got to blanch to dice or shred for freezing. So, uh-oh, bad spots. It's okay. It was kind of gross sorting all the bad ones out, let me tell you. But awesome that Generous Farm gave so many. I'm curious about your crispy smashed potato salad. I don't know what that means. It's basically like a vinegar dressing salad, right? I think I've seen something like that. Ooh. I think I just splashed water into my smoked salt bin. Great. It's fine. Everything's fine. I switched cutting boards and brought my Brooklyn Steel Company one out that probably hasn't been seen since the oiling cutting boards episode, but this one fits in one of the drawers here. So I'm moving the big cutting board I've been using for stream to the kitchen and putting this one out here. Just to consolidate setup, which is the biggest part of the purpose for, I wonder if that's enough. I mean, I can't do too many, but I don't want to overfill my bowl. Any I have left, I could just, once I get everything, all the other potatoes cooked that I want to cook today, and my cream sauce made, I can go ahead and boil or parboil and dehydrate those for use in. I figure it can't be too hard to invent a nice vacuum sealable, like, you know, you can buy scalloped potato kits, right? I'd probably have to buy some buttermilk powder or something that would turn into a sauce, but I bet I could make shelf stable scalloped potatoes that you can do in a skillet. Okay, I know what you mean by that. How many more russets did I wash? I'm gonna go grab a couple more of these at least and stab. Oh, okay. The other ones aren't done yet. I usually use, when I make potato salad anymore, I usually get the small potatoes. So it was a little harder. I've got yellow ones. I'm using russets for the scallop. For the potato salad, I'm using some yellows. I've got reds too. So I'm not sure what I'll turn those into because we can only eat so much potato salad. Unfortunately, my friend Marianne, when I talk about who had the stroke, her family doesn't care for potato salad. I offered some last time I made some. I resisted saying, but you haven't tried mine. Where was I recently? And somebody asked me, like, oh, you cook? It was kind of weird to me. Like, I didn't realize I didn't put off that vibe. Yes, use your guard with your mandolin once you get anywhere close. Having sliced myself on a meat slicer at Arby's when I was young. Ooh-wee. I did it when I wasn't slicing, I was cleaning it. Nobody told me about the magical chainmail gloves they have for some fucking reason. One would think that would be the standard part of the training. Okay, This bowl is full, so it's a really big bowl. So that should be enough for my scallop. I haven't had ham and scalloped potatoes in so long. I literally don't remember when the last time I had it was. Little bummed I don't have. Okay, these potatoes are. Why do I have one that's not cooked? Damn it. I don't want them to get too mushy. I'm going to cut those. You can't have an undercooked potato in your potato salad. This is so much easier with small ones. Okay. I'm going to shut those off and let them sit while I assemble this. That should give enough carryover. I need to get it a little bit cool down so I don't burn my hands cutting them up. What was I saying? Sorry, it's like 90 here today. We're all a little scattered over it. Very inconsistent weather. Okay. Now I'll start the cream sauce. Yeah. Could have saved some green onion for that. I am not going to. I'm going to use some fresh parsley. Well, not fresh. Was fresh, is dried now. Hack some of that up. Oh, yeah, I don't remember the last time I had hand scalloped potatoes. Probably as a child. Was a little bummed I didn't have any like leftover ham because that's kind of the best ham to be doing it with in my experience. I went to the store earlier to grab some ham, and every small ham, like unless I want to get a whole shank, and I don't want to take that kind of. My fridge is really full right now, and I don't want to take that kind of room in the freezer, because I'm trying to have at least one clear shelf for when I start blanching cubes or shreds, whatever, for breakfast potatoes, because I need to dry them on a tray or freeze them on a tray. And all the little hams were sliced, spiral sliced, all of them, like super thin, and I want cubes. So I got a couple ham steaks. Those are thick enough that I'm going to be able to get them more like the texture I want it to be. Okay, let's turn that on. Where's my butter? Good, 3 tablespoons of butter. Flour. Garlic. I'm going to put garlic in. I think the last time I did have scalloped potatoes was like probably my late 20s. I'm going to put like 2. When I lived in Buffalo, and I remember just seeing a recipe where it didn't even use a cream sauce. They had like just a shit ton of garlic in it and then put cream in it and it thickened itself. I don't want to use or pay for that much heavy cream, so I'm going to make a cream sauce with some milk. But I do still really like the garlic addition. I don't want to open a new sweet onion right now. The only one I have peeled already is red, and that's not a flavor I want in this either. So I think what I'll do is I'll put a pinch of onion powder in, is all, for a cheat, because I've got fresh garlic going on in it. It should be awesome flavors enough. You don't want to go too far because ham. Do 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 do. I'll just start. I'm gonna get a bigger whisk. Mickey whisk. Oh no! Mickey's ears broke off. This was a Mickey Mouse whisk. Yeah, I think I remember seeing them on the floor. and not realizing what it was at the time. Now, I can throw this away soon, that's fine. Gonna have to designate a whisk for the cooking stream. The only one, I've got two big wire ones. The only one I've designated for the stream has been the mini one I finally got myself. I've wanted a mini one for years, and then every time I saw one in TJ Maxx, because I'm cheap, I didn't like it. Okay, garlic in here. Cook that a little. Onion powder. Come on. Smidge. A little more of a smidge. I don't want this to brown the garlic at all. So let's get the flour in here. Good quarter cup, at least. And this can be a little under thick if you've never made this. Compared to a cream sauce you would serve, because the russets are going to release some starch when you bake it, and you bake it for like an hour. Cook the floury taste out. It's going to be about 3 cups of milk. You can also use some chicken broth in it, ramp up the flavor a little. That's maybe 2 cups. I'm going to see how that thickens, and then I might throw chicken broth in. I don't want to add much salt because of the ham. But I think a little more umami in the potatoes themselves would be fine. All right. Bring that up to temp. Then we will layer it up and throw it in the oven. I'm going to do it at 375. I'm going to cover it with foil. I may or may not put cheese on it at the end. That's a dealer's choice situation. And let's find somewhere to put. All right, I'm going to assemble before. Oh, it's taking forever to heat up. So if you're using freezing cold milk, but there was some weird ideas. As a refresher, I looked at other people's recipes for scalloped potatoes and ham, and they're like, put your potatoes and your ham and mix them up and layer it that way. I'm like, that's a little weird. That seems unnecessary. I will cube the ham while that comes to temp. I got 3 steaks. I don't know how many batches of this I'm going to end up making. But one for today. Beautiful. And you could buy cubes, already cubed, if your store has them. Mine did not. I avoided Aldi today. I went to Food Lion because it's Sunday, and that area of town is kind of a pain in the ass on Sunday. It's right by all the big box stores. This isn't thickening as much as I wanted. Considering how much flour I put in there. It's okay. Not the end of the world. But I know Aldi usually has cubes. And I am going to consider this an entree, not a side dish, so I will put this whole ham steak in the batch. I'll trim the fatty yuckies. I'm keeping an ear on this. I don't know. You probably can't hear the... Yeah, there. It's thickening up nicely now. But I did turn it down so it wouldn't scorch the bottom. Yeah, you can see it drag through slow, moves more slowly now. And this pan is coated cast iron. So I'm going to shut this off. And the carryover will get that to the right thickness. And I'm almost ready to start layering. Sweet. It's not hard, huh? And then I did pull, when I went to the kitchen, I pulled the cooked potatoes for the potato salad out of the water. I did use my spaghetti cooker pan for that. Basically, you know, it's got like an insert, colander type insert. And so those are starting to cool. So when this goes in the oven, we can start cutting those up and get them marinating. I shut it off and it's boiling up. This has come to the full thickness I expected now. I'm going to move it off to the cool burner, just for safety. Okay. A little bit in the bottom. I'm going to, in case hopefully I did not I don't misremember too badly with my assembly situation. But to me, I treat it like lasagna, right? And I want to put a little in the bottom so I don't end up with potatoes that like don't have anything to absorb. Let's get some chicken stock in here. There we go. Because even with the butter, like, don't want it burnt on the bottom. So these I won't worry about drying as much as when we get around to freezing, when we blanch potatoes. I know we have to be much careful about like blanching them and then drying them off before freezing them. I sure wish you could freeze potatoes raw, but you can't. The cells will break and they will turn to mush. It's like, man, it'd be great to have mashed potatoes to go, right? But I know we talked about that before because I was so trepidatious about instant mash, and that was in part because of bad experiences with frozen mash. The texture just gets so jacked. So, ham. And I'm going to pour this cream sauce. Oh, Make sure it's all off the bottom. Let's not dangle this, huh? About half of that on there. I think I'll have to make some more. That's what I get for not measuring. But that's okay. Hopefully we'll get through at least one pan of this in an acceptable manner. I'm going to want pepper. I didn't add any pepper to my cream sauce, and I just love peppers. Oh, you cook them in the cream sauce ahead? Yeah, I'm just going to count on them being in the oven as long as they need to save steps and time, because I don't even know how many pounds I ended up with, and I have a lot. And I'm going to let the oven do the work for me. That's another instance of if I feel like it's not liquidy enough, I can throw some broth in. Like I'll check after like an hour, and if the potatoes aren't cooked enough, I'll cook them longer. Throw more liquid in if I have to. Not being precious about it. Because again, I mean, it's restoring at this point. It's not for an immediate meal situation or a guest like the next one might be. Hopefully Bobby contacts me and let him know, like, I'm not kidding, dude. Let me fill up your freezer with some stuff. I'll bring you enchilada casserole. I'll bring you some ham, scalloped potatoes if I know what you all will eat. All right. Theoretically sufficient. I'm going to get this covered. The oven just went beep beep to tell me it's preheated. That's the word. The cream sauce, once I poured it in, did come up the sides nicely, so I think that's going to be plenty of liquid, especially because I'm covering it to get these potatoes to cook up. Now, I would definitely, I think, if I make a batch, excuse me, with the yellow potatoes, I'd be more likely to pre-cook them a bit first than the russets, because the russets want to fluff up and cook and take liquid more readily than waxier ones. So Alexa, set an alarm for 50 minutes. It even got it. It didn't misunderstand and say 15 or some shit. Oh, I'm going to have to clean my cutting board, aren't I? Because that was meat. Cooked meat, or cured meat. But still, let's not get that on our potatoes. Speaking of washing, I'm sure y'all know, don't wash your potatoes until you're planning to use them. They go bad much more quickly. Sorting those potatoes with volunteers the other day was something. It was, somebody was kind enough to hand me a pair of gloves, but picking out rotten potatoes is so yucky. But they hadn't gotten to where they were smelling bad or anything. They hadn't had them that long. Okay. Yeah, certain time frame makes a difference. That would be a good way to hurry them along. I've got like 3 more washed russets. I'm leaving them here separate from the not washed. The farm, they had some dirt on them, but a lot less dirt than I often see in like when I buy bags of potatoes. So I think they, I don't know, ran them through at least some preliminary washing process, which is a little bit of a bummer. Um, I have the pot. I washed potato salad, potatoes in that I'm gonna put some water in and bring out here to boil because I do have a lot left here that I've already sliced on the mandolin. So hopefully this is big enough. I need a big potato salad bowl. Ugh. Here we go. So I will blanch those so I can get them in the dehydrator. Which means I want to salt that water too. Look at that. Save the Tatas. It was so funny that Brandy was like, "Do you have any creative ideas for potatoes?" And I was like, "Ooh, I appreciate being thought of, that's for sure." I'm going to turn that in the burner that's further away just for convenience. So let's get these cut and ready to marinate. Like I said, I normally for my potato salad, I just get the small potatoes and then I like half them or quarter them, depending. And it was a funny thing that happened to me one time is I leave the skins on too. Somebody thought it was like Waldorf salad because all the little red potatoes, they thought it was apples. And nobody was eating my potato salad. Like I mentioned, like I've been warned, don't take this potato salad anywhere. All the women will hate you. Um, and yeah, got toward the end of the party. I was like, oh my gosh. I was sitting there having wine with a couple of the hosts. And it's like, I can't believe no one ate my potato salad. Well, that's disappointing. Usually it's a hit. And they're like, oh my God, it's potato salad? What? And they ran over and got some. And we ended up sitting there another couple hours, me and like 3 other women, and they ate a whole lot of potato salad. But this recipe, excuse me, calls for 3 pounds of potatoes, and those little potatoes usually come in a 1.5 pound bag. So I have the recipe because me and Vic are the only ones who eat potato salad in the house. Rob's out mowing the lawn in this weather. I went and got him some body armor, so hopefully he'll be okay. You do want to do this while they're still warm. It just really helps them soak up the marinade. These are cooked a little more than I want, but they're at least holding their shape. They're not disintegrating. I don't want mashed potato salad. Let me get these out here. I did weigh out 3 pounds like a dork. The other convenience to using the small potatoes is, like I said, getting it all cooked nice and evenly and not overcook in a pretty short amount of time. But you make do, you make do. I almost used red ones for this, but these were easier to reach at the time, and I know they'll be fine. I had to see if my friend Lori wants some of the potato salad. I know she likes it. I remember taking it to Fourth Creek for a potluck, and well, there was a funny thing where my friend Allison was having a little bit of a rant about potato salad, and somebody told her my potato salad was really good. And she asked what was in it, and I was telling her what was in it. And the big contention was that I use Hellman's mayo. And I live in North Carolina. And this is Duke's country. So I was wrong right there to begin with. I'm like, okay. And she's like, are you putting mustard in it? I'm like, well, I mean, there's ground mustard. There's in the marinade. You don't put mustard in it. What kind of southerner are you? And her husband's like, she's not a southerner. Oh, yeah. And then she came to an event where I had my potato salad, and she had forgotten that conversation, was saying how great my potato salad was. Me and my husband and her husband smiled quietly to ourselves. I'm glad you like it. I was like, oh my God, don't say out loud it's not Duke's. We don't want to have that conversation again. I actually, more often than not, I use the, anymore. I did ran out of the homemade I made the other day, by the way, and with everything else going on, decided to buy a jar today. Hellman's was on sale. I usually get the Aldi brand. It's really good. It tastes just like Hellman's to me, and I like Hellman's. I like the egginess. Oh, which reminds me, shoot. Another thing this potato salad has in it that you put in with the mayo and the radishes and the celery at the end is some hard-boiled eggs. And cup of celery, half cup of radishes, 2 hard-boiled eggs, cup and a half of mayo tomorrow, after it's all marinated. Normally when I'm boiling the potatoes, I just pop the eggs in toward the end of that, to save the energy and not boil them separately. But I forgot. So I'll just have to do that at some point. So here we are. Let's get that marinade. I will post the recipe, even though it's, it was a family, it's one of those, was a family secret like the pecan pie, but I'm sharing with the world these days. Flyover countries, equal opportunity. As long as it's not Miracle Whip. I know you all have enough sense, right? That that's not mayo. So I give this a stir. I'm gonna let it, they're still pretty hot. I have hot hands, chef hands here. You could just eat this, not lying. Throw some bacon bits in there. But let it cool so it doesn't warm up my fridge. And then I'll pop it in there overnight. And tomorrow I'll just cut up some radishes and celery and eggs and throw it in with a little mayo, and we'll have some awesome potato salad to go with our ribs. Something, if Rob weren't busting his ass, bless his heart, for doing that. We're so behind on yard things. Lori came, visited today, and brought me some granola she made and some muffins. I forgot what kind they are. So that'll be a nice snack. Okay. Where are we? Progress. Let's wipe this off. Man, I'm tempted to throw together another batch of the scalloped potatoes. No. That's probably, my dehydrator has like 9 shelves. So let's just worry about that right now. That's plenty of success, right? To do 3 different things with potatoes in one stream. We've been at it a little less than an hour. And do I need the butter anymore? No. I'm going to put this as my messy wrap stick because I know I'm going to be greasing pans. And it's something I've noticed other food streamers be smart enough to do that I never made a habit of. Is keeping a messy stick out for buttering. Okay. Move this to the bigger burner. Get it boiling faster. So I have salted water. I'm going to bring that to a boil. Got my spider out, which will make for nice blanching. I'm going to blanch these discs. I take out this one that has a big black spot. And then I'm going to want to at least somewhat dry them. So that the hydrator doesn't take an extra million hours, right? So let's get some towels out. Towel for the bottom, towel for the top. This is another, I got the dehydrator out. It's turned sideways because the plug probably isn't going to reach the back, unfortunately. Let's see. Sort of. So this is my dehydrator. It's an Excalibur. I looked it up earlier. I'm going to want to put it on 135 for potatoes, which is, according to this, the same setting. It's got a nice guide on the top. It's the same setting you would use for like fruit rolls. But yeah, we'll 2, 4, 6, 8. I don't know why I thought it was 9. Oh, 9. There we go. Yeah, it's a 9 shelf dehydrator. And now that I've got this new setup, I can like leave that out instead of dragging it in and out of the closet under the stairs where I was keeping it. This is freaking awesome. Okay, waiting for water to boil. Should I make some pesto? I don't know what we're having for dinner. I was like, I got all this. I planted basil in the garden today that needed to get in the ground. I peddled some. Rob found Texas tarragon, which I'm really excited about. It's supposedly really heat hardy, so I should be able to keep it alive, which I've had trouble with in the past. What else did I plant? Oh, some nice German chamomile that had a really hardy start. I gave it a lot of space, so hopefully it does as well as I've had it done. Other ones do in the past. Rob's out in the garden right now. I'm not sure what he's doing. He did just triage on the lawn. We had Doc come up, and we just had these unruly spots in the lawn. Like we had a drought recently. So some of it wasn't long, but the places that are long were like horrible. I hope he's not hurting himself too much. I know he put some tomatoes and peppers in the raised bed and in some bales, and he's getting worried about them. The drought took out at least one of our cucumbers. Oh, there's a cardinal out there. Lori's got she started some loofahs for us. We gave her seeds, but we still have, I've still got fennel and mugwort and like other medicinal plants I need to get in the ground, and some kind of tree. What did he tell me? He was going to put under the weeping cherry. I don't know. We're just really behind on getting stuff in the ground, and it went from like cold and dry to like 40s overnight, even recently, to like 90 today. This makes it really hard to catch up on all this bullshit. I'm gonna put a lid on this so it comes up quicker. Try not to burn myself. Sorry about the noise with the pot lid that left on the back of the stove. And let me show you some else what I did today. I harvested some oregano. Oh, this is showing the dehydrator still. Whoop. Little bit, a lot of oregano. There's some more I could harvest. If I have any trays left, when I get the potatoes in the dehydrator, I may throw some oregano in there as well. I did grind up some cayenne. I really need to grind the rest of that up at some point and get it into jars because I have a lot. Yeah, like what, a couple months ago on stream, I'm like, oh no, I'm out of crushed red pepper, forgetting I had this basket of it. Good genius. I also, the basil, I put in the garden to deter bunnies and to eat. I topped it, those plants, before I went out. So I've got that cooked chicken left from the other day, and we've got some hot sausage. Fletcher said he wouldn't mind some pesto. So this is almost enough for a good batch of pesto. So I'll either throw I'll throw it in with some jarred stuff, or my lemon balm has come in beautifully, and I really like to put lemon balm in my pesto. So that might be dinner, even though I said I don't want to make dinner. It's not that hard, right? It's a food processor. I can make somebody else boil the pasta. Chicken's already cooked. Sausages go in the air fryer and we cut them up. And that's a really quick, easy dinner that I don't have to do. That's something the boys can actually do on their own. Everyone has one of these right on their table for cooking. It is a beast. Hi, Therion. Peppers. Oh, yeah, those peppers. I grew those, man. Oh, no. My friend Scott grew those. But I helped Scott a little bit, and then Scott plants all the peppers in the world, and then can't quite handle it and has me go get peppers. Actually, the banner on my stream is my table that I used to use for streaming one year when Scott had his giant pepper harvest, and he's like, okay, come get what you want. And Lori goes over there too. She went and got some tomatoes from him the other day. That's where I got my tomato plants this year. But the peppers, and I got to try so many. He gets all these new interesting ones I've never tried. Shishito peppers. I charred and pickled some of those was it last year? And I made my first cowboy candy last year, and he gives me all these peppers. That's where I make my pepper jelly, like I put on that grilled cheese the other day. Pickled jalapenos with some garlic, because I like garlic in them, and they never do that. Well, rarely do that in the ones you buy in the store for when we have our nachos. You almost make me want to sing that. So yeah, so many different varieties of peppers, like, and purple ones and black ones. Although last year he had a mix. He mixed up tags with he had Scotch bonnets and habaneros, and then these other ones that looked like it but weren't hot. Last year I did a lot of like very careful experimenting to separate some of the peppers before I made stuff with them. Hopefully we get some good plum tomatoes this year and San Marzanos out of the plants that he gave me. If the weather keeps throwing out numbers like lottery numbers, we could have a problem. But we do have the irrigation lines buried near those. That should help. Um, I've never made my Papa's hot sauce on stream because I only started doing, the stream in October. But when tomato season comes, my Papa's hot sauce is, I love it. Actually, somebody in stream, if you're still here, Stormy has had that, I believe, because I've taken it to group meetups where I cooked, and it goes really well on like a frittata. I love it on eggs. I like it on a lot of things. Um, my papa called it hot sauce, and it's what I grew up with instead of like ketchup in the fridge. But it's not like a fermented hot sauce, hot sauce. It's more like a chili sauce. It's um, peppers, like red hot peppers, usually, as long as I can get them. I like cherry peppers too for it, and tomatoes and onions and sugar and vinegar. And I, process all that and cook it way down until it gets like kind of thick, and can it. And do I have a jar open? I use it, and sometimes I get hotter, and sometimes I make it milder. And it's kind of I put that shit on everything. Um, yeah, I've got a jar open right now. This recipe almost got lost. I spent years trying to recreate it, um, and not quite getting it right. And then, so you can get it like as thick as you want. Mm. Yeah, so it's like sweet, a little bit spicy, good stuff. Uh, where did the recipe finally come from? I think it was in the same random care package I got. Yeah, it was. I had an aunt who hadn't spoken to me in, I don't know, many years, who met me, sent me a package. I think her son gave her my address, and um, it had my papa's kielbasa recipe and my papa's hot sauce recipe. So I've been since able to recreate it properly. I gave the recipe to somebody in the Frog Pants Discord who does a lot of food experimenting. I don't think he's joined us in ours. That's annoying. But he's added garlic. He said it was good. And the recipe from my grandparents said, don't can. It said you don't have to process it, that you can put it in hot jars and it'll seal itself and you're good. So that's what I grew up with. But I know that, for reasons and technically, you're not supposed to rely on that kind of thing. But when he made it, he did actual pH testing to see if it was, enough vinegar, enough sugar, whatever, and it would be safe. And it did. The numbers were fine. But I have the last couple batches just gone ahead and processed it anyway in like a 10-minute water bath. I mean, better safe than sorry. And you cook it down. It takes like good 4 or 5 hours to cook down. So it's not like the processing is going to, damage it or cause any problems with it. Okay, is this thing boiling yet? Almost. I want a little hotter before I blanch. But then I will blanch and start dehydrating. What else do we have? Tuesday, I'm taking Reverend Barney to the doctor. I only was able to find 2 of my little bottles to infuse oils, and I love him, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to infuse both the sage rosemary and just a sage for him. Especially because this is all the olive oil I have. So I'm going to message him and probably infuse just one. He'll have to make a choice. Hey, I can do an unboxing. I ordered some things today. I know. Shouldn't spend money on Amazon, but with this new awesome setup I have that I'm in love with, I was watching Eat at Dad's the other day and thought, I need one of those roll-out mats for baking, for doing crusts and stuff. I love this, but this gap, I feel like I'm in it with flour falling down between those a lot. And having a baking mat, I think, will help control some of that situation. And I found a cheap one, so I went ahead. And to get the same day, I got some bird seed because we're out. And I've been wanting a different style rolling pin forever. And this, they've been way too expensive. I looked at them at World Market. So I finally got the French style rolling pin that I've been wanting. Instead of my weird old one with handles that I don't even remember where it came from. So yeah, I treated myself today. Treated the stream. It's for you guys. I do have a Throne wish list. I have an Amazon wish list. If you ever want to help me out with stuff I want for the stream, there are dreams. I try to keep it low end. Although I do have a GoPro on there, I think, that's on the Throne list in such a way that people can just throw a buck at it or whatever until it gets to where I can get it. Because then we can do smoking and grilling outside. My little snail sticker. I don't know which pride flag this is. I know I got it at a pride event, and now I don't. Is that terrible? I actually helped write the bylaws and start the LGBTQ plus caucus of the Democratic Party in North Carolina, and I don't know all my flags. I don't have them memorized. Does that make me a bad person? Okay, so this, I hear the water about to boil. I think what I'm going to need to do is roll this mat up so it fits in a drawer. I'm surprised it came folded. I thought it would be rolled up. It was rolled up in the pictures. They had a black one. I really wanted the black one. It was cool. But I wasn't paying like 3 times as much just because it was black. I'm an old school goth. I'm like pre Hot Topic. Go to thrift stores. Yeah, this is perfect. Putting it where I'll be rolling, it's going to cover this gap when I'm rolling stuff out. Oh, I'm so happy. It's exactly what I needed. What is on here? Candy making temperatures. I'm not going to be able to read any of that when it's on this wood grain. That's okay. Let's roll this up so I can put it in a drawer. Do. New toys. I still haven't gotten fresh strawberries to make my strawberry rhubarb pie. I might end up just going with a plain rhubarb, but oh, I think I need I want this smaller rolled. A rubber band, or maybe folding it was the right call. Most of these drawers aren't deep. The top is deep and the bottom ones are deep. Let's put a rubber band on it. This is kind of a shitty rubber band from the scallions, but the celery probably has a better one. I put it in here for now. I'll put it in the top drawer. It fits. All right. I'm gonna add a pot holder so I don't burn myself. Put my hair back up. I don't think I have any pine nuts. Yeah, that's fine for blanching. Ooh. Alrighty, folks. Are they gonna float? I don't know. I don't know that I've ever blanched potatoes. Is that weird? Now I need another timer set. Hmm. Hmm. Timer. I'm gonna go ahead and give it 3. There we go. Oh. Twitch. I'll put you guys on a bigger screen so that I can use my phone for a timer. You see how glad I am I don't use Stream Elements right now? I mean, I think I have it hooked up, but like nothing, I'm not using any of the features. Because if they close down, boy, some streamers are going to have it so bad. Sorry. Sorry. Let's put that in the other room. We don't need it. I'm going to grab a cookie. Remember if did I eat today? I did. I had 3 breakfast links. There's like 3 left. So I'll have to make sausage again before too terribly long. So do I mess around and invent it myself? I'll probably do research and then experiment to get it down as well as I can. Because once I get a bunch of these dehydrated potatoes, I think where I need to look them up, this is a chocolate chip, the dark chocolate chips that Fletcher made. Camp food. Yeah, that's what I figure. A lot of these I can use for a gratin once they're dehydrated whenever I want. But I would love to get dehydrated cheese powder, buttermilk powder, whatever I have to do to make a shelf stable, like scalloped potatoes, like you can buy in the store in a box. Because that would be great to give to our unhoused folks, to have on the shelf at home too. Might be a neat gift. I'm that kind of holiday gifter too. Like me and my friends. I tend to keep the friends that are those kind of gifters. Matter of fact, I should do this soon. This is from 2 Christmases ago. Lori made me this pot. Ooh! Holy shit. That was loud. I'm sorry. Jeez. Terror. Okay, whoops. That was my potatoes are blanched. Let's get them out here drying. And get some more in. Oh. Yeah, I'm excited. I've never done this before. I want to give them room. I don't want them bunched up, right? Okay. Here's where the hot hands come into play. And then I don't know if I'll do it tomorrow because, well, maybe I will. Tomorrow I'm going to be smoking some ribs and maybe while they are being unattended, I'll cube and blanch some for. Can you hear the lawnmower? Holy shit, he's still at it. Um, for having to make hash browns on the fly or breakfast potatoes, whatever you want to call them. I thought about making, I looked up methods for making like hash brown patties. Man, I gotta say, I do love me some like McDonald's hash browns, but I didn't want to mess with all that because for that, you need to um, freeze them and then cook them and then like fry them before storing them. And it was just a lot, especially for, I mean, granted, these potatoes were free, right? Oh, I'm gonna turn this down. It was, hopefully, it won't blast us this time. Um, so that's a lot of savings, but I mean, all the labor and the oil, and I don't want to eat that many potatoes, frankly. Mm. I'm so sorry. That was really freaking loud. I jumped out of my skin. Just about. I wish I remember what kind of rolls. Actually, let me look. Or muffins Lori brought me. She took some of the potatoes too. She took a good box full. She told me to let her know if I don't get through these in enough time. Um, I mean, I could eat one and find out, but I was pumpkin muffins. Cool. Pumpkin. And they're cute little ones. She took a bunch of the heart potatoes. Some of these are just, you guys, I'm going to show you some of these potatoes. They were pulling out some and taking pictures of them. Like weird shaped ones, like oh, look. Oh, like these doubled up gigundous ones. This sucker. Like, I don't think that's even going to fit on the mandolin. Um, luckily, there's a lot of small red ones. Um, I think I need to. I wish potato salad froze, right? But I feel like that would be a terrible idea. But my mandolin is my friend. So being able to make gratin more easily going forward is exciting. Um, they did put out the call to other organizations. I know my friend Allie, she was there sorting more potatoes when I left after sorting for an hour. Because Tuesdays, one of the churches locally feeds a whole bunch of our unhoused population. So she was getting some of that for them. Like everybody in town. I have a friend from out of town who does a lot of cooking and baking. If I made potato rolls, I could freeze those. I'm just going to run out of freezer space though. And my freezer's acting up. Holy cow. After all the trouble, I went to replace the seal and then figured out, oh shit, I've got house coverage. Yay, timer's done. That would have done that for me. It's frosting up again. So kind of irritated. I'm gonna have to get under there with the vacuum, and my attachments are missing, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm thinking about taking the leaf blower, just getting all the dust out of there and seeing if that's the problem. And then if not, well, I'll put up with it being all shitty and covered in ice for as long as I can stand it, and then have to get a new one after I pay off my new stuff here. I thought I had told Lori about my new setup, and she came today and was like, "Oh my gosh, there's some food streamer." I started to tell the story earlier and then flaked. I know. There's something in there. Came off a potato. The hell with it. So some food streamer she watched has a bench like mine, who was saying, and she was like, "I was going to share that with you. Like everybody needs a workbench in their kitchen." I was like, "Already there, girl. Living the dream. I have two." All right. Start stacking these in the dehydrator. I never make those box mixes to have a decent idea of what's in them. But I know I can buy cheese powder. And I've heard of buttermilk powder. Oh, instant milk, right? I guess that makes sense. And I think with a lot of those, it would be a matter of dumping a pot with some water and cook it until the potatoes are hydrated, cooked, and then you would just reduce it to the thickness you want, right? Figure it out. All right. I think I can do all the rest of these in one batch. And that's not nearly going to fill the dehydrator. So I'll dehydrate some oregano. Let's get rid of this water. Do, 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 do. Hi. Ugh. Man, if we made a day of this, like we did with those beets, we could do so many. I mean, this is going quicker than I thought. I definitely could have done a couple of those scalloped potato dishes. I've been at an hour 23, and I'm almost done with all the potatoes.
You're stuck in a stew yet.
Nope. Well, I did boil, sort of. I've got,
Yeah.
there's potato salad marinating out there.
Yeah. So
And these are blanched,
okay.
which is also boiling.
Yeah.
No stew. And there's a casserole in the oven. So yeah. Ah.
My mother would be so proud.
What? What?
My mother would be so proud.
Of what?
Oh, she did this thing for a couple of summers when I was a kid for the PEI Potato Marketing Board. We ate nothing but potatoes for like 2 years.
Rob's mom used to work for like different agricultural organizations in Prince Edward Island. She worked for Pork, right? Pork Canada.
Pork and milk and eggs.
Pork and milk and eggs. And PI is famous for potatoes. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to call it quits after I get this dehydrator going. There's not really anything for me to taste, you guys. Unless you want to watch me make some pesto. Should I make pesto? Well,
but only if it's like not a giant pain in the butt. Because that garlic doesn't peel easy.
it doesn't, but.
Skip it.
Well, I know, but I don't want to waste the basil, so somebody's got to make pesto. I know. Well, I don't think Fletcher's at that level. All right. Um, 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 you don't need to watch me make basil pesto today. Plain yogurt. You eat dehydrated plain yogurt. Interesting. Is it like way more sour than ice cream though? For you to say it tastes like ice cream? My son bought ice cream today. He said it's limited time flavor. It's root beer float flavor. I'm definitely gonna have to try a bite of that. I love root beer floats as a kid. Okay, spread them out, dry them off, rack them up. Rawhide, not rawhide. It's potatoes. Alrighty. Sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. I mean, they're not sweet potato. I did find one random sweet potato in the bunch, and I kind of, for the juju of it, the magic of 10,000 pounds at least of potatoes that I was helping go through, that I found this one sweet potato. I think I'm gonna make slips and plant it. We have a long enough season that I should have time for that, and it's about time to do that again. A couple years ago, the first time our orange baby man was president, we grew sweet potatoes, and oh my gosh, Rob was laughing at it because I was absolutely giddy. I'd never grown them. I love sweet potatoes so much, and we started digging in, and they were coming up out of the ground, and there were so many, and I was so happy. And I'll try to dig it up and put it in the Discord. Some of you have known me long enough that you might remember the Orange Dictator. So I pulled out, and some of the potatoes were all these crazy, different shapes. And this one was like curved on the end and had this big sticking up, like, yeah. It looked like a marital aid, and we dubbed it the Orange Dictator. And oh, hey, the other timer's going off. I flaked, and I'm so glad. Alexa, please stop. I can check. Y'all didn't remind me to see if the scalloped potatoes are cooked or if they need more time. So if those are cooked, I can absolutely have something to give a test on the stream as is proper. Okay, there was just 3 racks of potatoes. Man, that's not a lot. I'm gonna, I think, probably do more of those tomorrow. But it's boring to watch, so. Is my cutting board clear? Ah, it's got. It smells good. Pot holder on it, which is perfect. I smell ham. Oh, I did end up putting a little more brains. I put some chicken broth in it, and what it looks like to me is that it broke a little. That's okay. It's stirring right back in. It was just boiling super hard. I only had it on 350. It's surprising it boiled that hard. That's okay. That's my other son wanting to know what we're having for dinner. So yeah, I need to stir this up a little bit. Potatoes stay cooked. I'm gonna give it a taste. Um, I'm gonna go ahead, I think, and put some cheese on. Mm, it absolutely needs no salt. The ham gave it the perfect amount. Um, yeah, stir this back in. Yeah, the chicken broth made it the cheese sauce, or the cheese sauce. It's not cheese sauce. The cream sauce separate a little bit, but that's okay. Um, I'm gonna get a fork. But when this sits, it'll also thicken back up a little. So, note to self: don't freak out if it doesn't look like enough liquid. It was. Fork. Mm, mm. Dude. Okay, it's really tasty. That is made of freaking nostalgia. um, yeah, we're good. Gonna back in with the lid off for like 10, and then I'm not gonna cheese that one. Because I'm gonna split that into like probably half and freeze it in halves. And then when it's reheated, we can add cheese if we want. Ham and scalloped potatoes. And I think even for a gift, with our Frog Pants friend, a family that's going through stuff, or other people, I decide to deliver some of these dishes to. Um, I'm not going to peel them, even with the russets. It didn't discolor. I have had it happen in the past where I didn't peel russets for something and it discolored the cream sauce, and these didn't. I'm not sure if it's because they're early season potatoes. Um, Even with how huge these are, the skins aren't as thick as some russets I've gotten in stores. But that's good to know, and it's part of why I experimented today instead of making a whole bunch of them at once. Thank you so much for being here. Man, yeah, ham and scalloped mashed potatoes. I'm so glad I thought of doing that. I was like, I haven't had it in forever. And I only used one ham steak in that whole thing, and it was plenty of meat. So I've got two more, so I can make at least two more batches of that. And maybe I'll talk to Lori and see what kind of freezer space she's got. Because I definitely want to do breakfast potatoes. So I'm not going to do more scalloped potato casseroles until after I've got bags of breakfast potatoes blanched and put up, because I need to freeze those on trays, and I need the space. Right? Right. So anyhow, thanks for being here. I appreciate you and your company every time I stream. Might be more potatoes next time. I don't know. Um, but regardless, I appreciate you, and I look forward to cooking with you soon.